My name is Hildegard Westerkamp, and I am in Vancouver in my home. I think I started piano. I had then a teacher when I was about 15 who was just probably my best ever teacher. By that time, I was already a little bit ruined by that other piano teacher. I had never really learned how to play the heart. It was a very kind of routine learning. I played, by that time, maybe I played, I don't know, Mozart sonatas or whatever, but I had not learned to listen at all. And I also had not learned to have confidence and trust. And the piano, is such an interesting instrument because you think it just makes the music. It doesn't matter what you do, right? That's basically, there it is. It's this big machine, right? And the idea that my touch could actually change that had not ever occurred to me. She was also a listener on many other levels. She also listened to me as a struggling teenager. I would come to her classes and lessons, and we would just sometimes just stop. I think what it probably did teach me also is what it's like when somebody listens to another person. And that was an experience that I just had not really had. I was not made up to be a pianist. I never wanted to be a pianist. All I wanted to do is listen. How many birds have you heard today? What was the first sound you heard this morning? How many airplanes have we heard today? Right now. A sound walk is an opportunity to go for a walk and listen to everything that you hear. What sounds drift up from the valley? As we've become more conscious about ecology being a relationship between environment and person, so in a sound walk, it is an opportunity to examine our relationship as listener to the environment. And that way you also get to know what kind of listener you actually are. And we listen all together in a group. We don't speak. And then afterwards, very crucial, we have a discussion about the experience. To me, a sound walk is just a framework that you give to others to give the opportunity to get in touch with your own listening. The original idea was, okay, we need to listen to the soundscape because there are things happening there that are not great and we need to change them. Listening to your own thoughts is part of this process. You know, we may be so preoccupied that we hear nothing of the environment. Why? What happened? Why are we not listening to indigenous people? Why are not we listening to women? The soundwalk, at the beginning, it was more of an activist thing. Just observing how people reacted when they started to listen, and then talk about the issues. Now people talk about their own experience, the effect that the sounds had on them, but what's not discussed often, okay, what does that mean into a more activist? Like, what did we actually hear on this mindset where you might want to consider to change things because you're noticing that they are not right? And it was at a time in the 70s when we were all in Vancouver. It was just such an intense atmosphere of reinventing the world culturally and politically. And co-op radio started at that time. The Western Front started, Video In started, all these cultural awakenings everywhere, and political too. So we were quite involved. My then husband Norbert, we were involved with co-op radio at the same time. That started in the mid-70s. Told you about my radio program Soundwalking. I wanted to transfer the concept of soundwalks onto the radio medium. So for about a good year I went out recording anything I felt like. Once a week for this once a week radio program. Because I knew that people block out environmental sound naturally.
It's a very foggy day in Vancouver.
We'll sort of give the context, the date, the weather, where I was. I would point things out in between. So my voice would be a bit of a mediator between the environmental sounds and the listener. It was amazing how, even though it was co-op radio, the show stuck out like a sore thumb. Because it changed the radio rhythm. You know, I'd come after the folk music show and I'd make a crossfade into my show and everything slows down. It doesn't matter what you listen to, whether it's the traffic outside the window or anything. It doesn't have rhythm. It doesn't have musical rhythm. Everything slows down to an environmental sound rhythm. With my first piece, Whisper Study, where I had a studio recording of myself whispering. When there is no sound, hearing is most alert. So I had this overlay sound of me whispering with like multiple sort of whispering sounds. And then I slowed that down on our analog reel-to-reel tape recorders. I suddenly heard this unbelievable sound, which was a liquid, almost river-like, water-like sound. And then I slowed down more and more, and then I mixed those different speeds together, and that produced this river clicking and slurping. And I was so absolutely stunned by what I had just found there. I knew nothing of sound processing, right? It was so exciting, I had to leave the studio. I didn't know what to do with it. it just made me feel like I had created a sound that you experience when you sit by a creek and you're hearing all sorts of subtle little things in this creek. And you even hear voices, and you hear, you're imagining things. Your own sonic, acoustic imagination is flourishes when you listen to a river sound. What does the environment actually say, and what do you want to say? It's about relationship again. Composer and environment are in a constant conversation and help each other, hopefully. Because the environmental sound recordings don't behave like musical instruments. If you go into the environment, yeah, you're dealing with life. And then life upends you. And you cry. Or laugh.